Hello, V Squad. Welcome back to another episode of VGirlTV. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to my canal de YouTube, and I am back with another video. I am super excited to do another sit-down video because, as promised, I stated that I would be doing more sit-down videos because I know a couple of you guys have been reaching out like, no, you need to do more sit-down videos. So here I am doing more sit-down videos. Now, this particular video is inspired because I have gotten this question a lot. Like, when I tell you guys a lot, it's kind of ridiculous the amount of times that I've heard the same question. By the title of the video, you probably already know what it is, but for the sake of this video, I'ma just announce it. Where are the black people? I know, guys, but believe it or not, this question, everyone asks this question. So for me personally, as you guys know that I do events here in Panama, rum and brunch, and I also have other events that are more like urban inspired, that is inspired by me growing up in Brooklyn. And I know that we have a lot of tourists, a lot of young people that's looking for nightlife, and they're looking to hear the music that they want to hear. And so I host these events, basically reggae, dancehall, hip hop, soca music, reggae music, basically, the music that we like to hear, when we're back home or whatever the case may be. And not only when we're back home, because there are people here that live in Panama that enjoy that type of music. And unfortunately here in Panama, they do not have that. But for the most part, when people come to rum and brunch or any events that I host, they always ask the same question, like, where are the black people? And if they are not asking me that personally, they are messaging me in my, DMs, or they're messaging me outside and saying, hey, I came to Panama and I ain't see no black people. Where are the black people? Well, first of all, I just have to be honest with you guys because, I'm just going to tell you guys the truth. 9 out of 10 times when you are visiting Panama, you are not in a local area. You guys are in tourist areas, okay? It's just like if you live in New York, and people who are visiting, they go to Times Square. Local people do not go to Times Square. Local people are not going to Times Square. And I'm not saying that all black people, but believe it or not, like, the black people are not going to be in Casco Viejo, okay? You may see one or two, but mostly they're either going to be people that work there or people that are tourists like yourselves, but they are not visiting, or they're not hanging out in Casco Viejo on a daily basis. And to be honest with you guys, I don't even really think that you guys really want to tour real Panama. Casco Viejo is just a part of Panama that is attractive. It's beautiful. I'm not gonna tell you otherwise. They have really good restaurants, but there are local spots that are in Panama that have amazing food, culinary food, delicious, authentic, and that's where you're gonna find the black people. And I'm gonna be real honest with you. Just be real honest. Some of y'all not ready. You say you are, but you're really not ready, okay? A lot of times when tourists come to visit Panama, they are not trying to go to those type of areas. What areas I'm talking about? Cologne. Obviously, people warn you against going to those places, i.e. the American Embassy, i.e. the Board of Tourism. They warn you not to go there. If you are trying to go to places like Rio Bajo, more than likely when you are, visiting Panama and you're Googling, hey, what's to do in Panama, Rio Bajo is not part of the places to visit. Okay, unless you have family there, unless you know someone, unless you're doing a deep dive, you're not visiting there. If you are going to go to places like Bocas del Toro, which most of the time that when people come to Panama, they're not here long enough to go visit places like Bocas, which is highly populated with Caribbean culture especially, but most people are not visiting these areas, right? Most tourists are not visiting these areas. Why? Because Bocas is really far. You either have to take a bus, and the bus is going to take hours to get there, or you can take a plane. And so most people that go there are people already knowing that that's where they're going to go visit, or if you're going to be here for a long period of time and you want to explore Panama, that's probably where you're going to go. But 9 out of 10 times when you guys, you the tourist, are visiting Panama, you are not visiting Panama for more than maybe 4 or 5 days max. And within those 4 or 5 days max, and that's pushing, that's giving a lot of days, okay? Nothing in there is saying, hey, you know, I want to go visit the more urban areas. Oh, I want to try the urban food. I don't know how many times I have made videos and content about local restaurants. And, you know, maybe you'll have 1 or 2 people that may go and visit. But honestly speaking, social media is all about aesthetics. And sometimes some of these places may not be aesthetically pleasing for you guys, okay? Some of you guys, you know, require a whole lot. And so, you know, these local places aren't going to put up with some of your... So some of these places aren't going to be aesthetically pleasing for you guys to be able to post Instagram worthy pictures, or for you guys to put, you know, create content based on it, because it's not aesthetically pleasing. And so honestly speaking, you really have to ask yourself, do you really want to know where the black people are? So when I hear people say, you know, I visited Panama and I didn't see any black people, it's kind of like disappointing to hear, because black people exist. Black people are all over the world. We exist. I mean, you can go to China and you'll find a black person. You can go to, you know, what you would consider the whitest part of the world and you will find a black person. Would you find plenty or a lot? No, because no matter where you are in the world, black people are the minorities. And I need for people to understand that black people are still the minority. Now, if you go to certain areas in the US, you will find that in some areas, black people are still the minority. And in certain neighborhoods, black people are the majority. Now, if you live in certain areas, for example, the people that I know that complain that there are no black people are the people that grew up in Brooklyn, right? The people who grew up in Brooklyn amongst other black people, amongst other black Panamanians that lived in Brooklyn, i.e. Flatbush. And so they were surrounded by people that looked like you. Well, they look like me, my mom, and my family, and they spoke like, you know, and they automatically assume that everybody in Panama is that way. And it's not the truth. That is not the truth. Just like in America, there are subcultures, okay? So you have the American culture, and then in the American culture, there are subcultures of Americans. So you may have American, Asian Americans, you may have West Indian Americans, you may have Italian Americans, and so on and so on. And the same thing applies here in Panama as well, guys. So yes, Panama is a Latin country, so you will see people that look, you know, more on the paler side, or, you know, white skinned, or whatever you want to call it. But within Panama, there are subcultures. And so just like when you're in the States and you go into certain areas, you may find predominantly a certain type of people. The same applies here for Panama. So if you are in Panama and you are in Casco Viejo, of course you're going to see, you know, non-black people. And then you also have to keep in mind that a lot of people that work in Casco Viejo are not Panamanians. They are people from Venezuela. They are Colombians. You will not see many Panamanians in that area, okay? So I need for you to understand that. I have seen videos on YouTube where a guy was talking about, this has nothing to do with what I'm talking about right now. Well, kind of, sort of, it does. And he was basically talking about picking up Panamanian women, and the women that he was showing was definitely not Panamanian. They were definitely Colombians and Venezuelans. And so I think that's also another thing for you guys to understand, is that when you come to Panama, most of the time, if you're in certain areas, you are not amongst local Panamanian people. You're not, okay? You're not. So you can't group everyone in this box and assume that everyone is Panamanian because you are only in one particular area. I urge everyone, you know, go out and really explore Panama. If you really want to know Panama, and if you really, really are interested in the culture, the Afro-Caribbean culture, visit places like the West Indian Museum, okay, in Cinco de Mayo. People don't talk about that either. People don't talk about that either. Okay, I will encourage you to visit other places if you don't feel safe, because I know that sometimes people make videos suggesting things that may not be 100% true, or you guys do your research and you Google onto certain websites and they tell you certain things. If you do not feel safe, get a tour guide. Get to know someone that is from the area, you know, a trusted person that's from the area that can show you around, because trust me, there is more to Panama than just Casco Viejo, people. And I'm going to repeat again, there is more to Panama than just Casco Viejo, okay? I need you guys to get that in here, okay? Learn it, love it, appreciate it, trust and believe. You will not be disappointed if you really, really got to know real Panamanian culture and the people of Panama by exploring outside of Casco Viejo. I have a friend that has a restaurant, and it's a local restaurant. People usually go there Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays to have fish. And when I tell you something, it is not in the Mercado de Marisco. He is a small business, you know, where he opened up a restaurant in front of his home. And if you want to really experience real authentic Panamanian culture, that is what Afro-Caribbean Panamanian culture is. Restaurants that's made outside of their home. And it may not be aesthetically pleasing to you or what you would consider sanitary, because, you know, American standards, it's a little high. Okay, American, and we just gonna keep it real. American standards are really, really high. And it doesn't matter if you're black or you're white. American people and American standards are extremely high when it comes to many things. Okay, and I have seen how, and I'm just gonna be honest, I have seen how American people really, you know, disrespect, or, and this is not all American, or talk down to or try to belittle the locals' restaurant because it's not up to their standards or what they feel is fine dining. And so you really got to ask yourself, do I really want to know what Afro-Caribbean culture here in Panama is like? Do I really want to know what black culture is like really in Panama? I think when you sit back and you really analyze it and you really think to yourself, if that's really what you want to do, then I encourage you to do it. But you also have to be there. And when you go, you have to go with an open mind and not with a mind to criticize. Okay? This is not America. A lot of these people are, you know, doing what they do with the grace of God, their hard work and their hands, you know, and they're doing what they have to do. So we really try to encourage people, like, if you're gonna come to Panama and you really want to know about the authenticity of Panamanian culture, is to come with an open mind. Anyway, guys, I hope this video helped you, give you a little bit more insight on where the black people are in Panama, right? And I hope that, and I encourage you guys that when you do come to Panama, please, okay, hit me up. Hit me up, okay, at www.VGirlTV.com. Shoot me an email at VGirlTV@gmail.com. So if you are truly interested in knowing where the black people are, let me know in the comment section, and I will show you where the black people are. Anyway, guys, thank you for always tuning into my content, and as usual, peace and love.